He's running for Congress in the 13th district. Next to Rick is Mr. Doug Tudor. He's running for Congress over in the 12th district. And next we have Mr. James Golden. He's running for Congress here in the 13th also. And next we have Mr. Jim Roach, and he's running for Congress down in the 12th district. Excuse me, 14th. And
would you just inform us, please, for those of us who don't know where these districts are besides being numbers?
Real quickly, we don't have a lot of time tonight, but I'll go over it real quickly. Doug's district starts over at Hillsborough County and it runs over through Polk County. District 14 is south of Sarasota, runs down to Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Naples, that area. And then our district is Sarasota, Manatee, and DeSoto County, and it runs a little bit, I think, up into Hillsborough too.
The 13th Congressional District is composed of Manatee County, Sarasota County, Hardy County, and DeSoto County. It is also composed of 8 precincts in Charlotte County, and it excludes about a dozen or so precincts in northern Manatee County.
And are you one of the candidates for the
Yes, I am. Mr. Eaton is the other. We are, unlike the other two, in a primary race. The gentleman on the end, the handsome guy on the end, is my opponent.
Thank you.
And then we also asked Congressman Buchanan to participate tonight, but needless to say he couldn't do that, and he has a good reason. Congress is in session, so we can't hold that against him. But he did say that his spokesperson had a conflict tonight, that they couldn't make it. Most of you probably know a little bit about Florida Veterans for Common Sense, but if not, I'll just give you just briefly so that you know a little bit about us. We have called for a withdrawal from both Iraq and Afghanistan, and the primary reason is, or one of the major reasons is because we can't afford to stay there anymore. We're of the opinion that in Iraq and Afghanistan, that the money that we're spending over there could be better spent at home. We could make about 20 jobs for every soldier that's serving in Afghanistan.
If you get the 16
and
gig one,
that's we need jobs in this country instead of wasting money over there. And ultimately, no matter what they tell us, the light's at the end of the tunnel. Those of us from the Vietnam era, we've been through this story once before.
Thank you.
And we see it again. So with that being said, I'd like to tell you what our format is tonight. It's going to be, we're going to have to try to move rather quickly because we've only set aside an hour and a half for this. But I will tell you this, just like we socialized before this meeting, if you want to come socialize with the candidates, they're certainly welcome. We usually have an informal meeting over at the Monterey Grill, which is 3800 South Tamiami Trail. And it's at the north side of the shopping center there. That's 1 block before you get to Bee Ridge Road. So it's just right down the road, real easy to find. So come on over and you can continue to talk to these candidates and ask them individual questions. Basically what we'll do, it's an easy format. We want to give everybody the opportunity to participate and say whatever they can tonight in this limited amount of time. But the first thing I want to point out, and I'm very proud to say, every one of these gentlemen are veterans. And needless to say, as veterans ourselves, we appreciate their service, and we certainly want to give them all the respect that they're entitled to tonight. Even if you disagree with their opinions or their position on something tonight, still give them respect, because as we know, opinions change, and as we get more information, particularly on these critical issues of national security and even things like the oil drilling, opinions change, as we know. So let's give them the respect that they're due, and they certainly deserve it. The rules of the forum are going to be real simple. We're going to have an opening statement where every gentleman will have 5 minutes to give an introduction. We'll go through that. We'll go through in alphabetical order. And I have Mr. Dennis Plews back here as the timer and sergeant of arms. And Dennis is big enough, if somebody wants to start blathering on, Dennis can take care of you. So we'll take care of that, and then we'll ask a few questions. As moderator, I'll ask some questions, and they'll have 2 minutes to respond to that. Then after that, we'll have questions from the audience. Now, we went out and made a special effort to get a wireless mic tonight. And we worked on it for several hours and it didn't work. So here we are with one microphone, and I apologize for that, but what we'll do, we can deal with it, and we'll pass it down. So that's the way that'll work. And then we'll give each gentleman 3 minutes to close up, and so it should be a real good forum. So with that being said, Rick Eaton comes first in the line, and so Rick, you can step up.
Thank you, Gene. My name is Rick Eaton. I'm a Democratic candidate for Florida's District 13. I'm actually a U.S. Air Force veteran. I spent 7 years in the Air Force, and I'm a veteran of the first Gulf War. I worked on aircraft, missiles, guidance systems, that kind of thing. And I went into that and went into research and development. Now, research and development plays into this because the military black projects, the classified areas, are the tail that does wag the dog today. As you get into things like Iraq, that's where my research and development background came in kind of handy. I exposed a lot of information that was disturbing, to say the least. What I see when I look at Iraq, Bush, Cheney, I see investigations and I see people that need to be prosecuted. I don't see any gray areas. As we've expanded into Afghanistan, long ago, Gene and I actually talked about the minerals in Afghanistan and China's investment. So the big news this week was not big news to any of us. Veterans, in general, are generally treated like disposable war equipment. Once the wars are done, they don't care anymore. It's obvious, and it plays out in everything you see. I think the last stat I heard was like 300,000 homeless vets, traumatized, not knowing where to go. I want to take a moment to thank you guys, because people like you are what inspires people like me to run. The people that run the government, they're not like us. They don't think like us. They don't have the same thought patterns at all. We care, we're sincere, they're not, and it's obvious. Thank you.
James, you're next.